Oh, here we go again. Herschel Walker. So we got the runoff election is today. It is today. And we'll see the results as they roll in. I'm going to be doing a live show in New York, and on Wednesday I'm doing one in Boston, so I won't have time to do a live, like a live for the show reaction, but I'll probably record, an iPhone video with Crystal or whatever when we get the results in. Although I might be on stage when the results actually come in, so I don't know. Anyway, runoff election today. The preliminary numbers looked good for Warnock over Walker. And now we get this bombshell within the final few days before the vote. They already started the early vote, but, before election day. So this was in the Daily Beast. A woman has come forward using her real name to make the first on-record claims of domestic violence against Herschel Walker. She speaks to his mental disorder and is joined by 4 other ex-partners. This thread will break down their stunning claims. The woman, Cheryl Parsa, spoke of a 5-year intimate, tumultuous relationship in which she felt Walker manipulated her with his dissociative identity disorder, lied and cheated routinely. She even visited his therapist on Walker's advice. Okay, so we're going to get into more specifics on this, but he claims to have this dissociative identity disorder. But as you'll see, he uses it very conveniently to, make excuses for lying and cheating and even being violent, because he gets to turn around and say, that wasn't even me, bro. That was like my alter ego. So I'm not even sure I'm buying that he has this dissociative identity disorder. I think he just gives himself license to be a totally shitty person and then turn around and say, it wasn't even me. According to Parsa, Walker and his doctor seem to work like a team, with Walker leaning on his diagnosis and his doctor allegedly casting her as a savior. The doctor, she said, warned that Walker had little to no control over his personalities. Quote, the worst case I'd ever seen. Walker had openly discussed his experience with DID, including his 2008 memoir, Breaking Free. He blames his past mistakes on his diagnosis and says today that he has overcome it. But DID specialists say the disorder is difficult to control. Okay, so here's the reality. Either he's lying, he never had this disorder, he uses it as an excuse to be a really shitty person, or he has it and he still has it to this day. In other words, there is no you have it, but you've overcome it. They say that's almost impossible. Okay? They continue. Parsa detailed a 2005 violent incident when she caught Walker with another woman at his condo. She said Walker grew enraged and swung his fist at her. Quote, I thought he was going to beat me, she said, and fled. We corroborated through a friend she told at the time. Oh boy. Parsa said the doctor told her he believed Walker was gentle, but had people in him that are capable of killing. Walker doesn't disagree. In 2013, he said one personality was, quote, a guy who wanted to kill someone, and that's why I needed treatment. Holy shit, that's crazy. Wow. But DID specialists say the disorder isn't typically associated with violence. Parsa also said Walker leaned into his illness to avoid accountability for his actions. But a fundamental principle of treatment is that DID should not be used as an excuse for behavior. 4 other ex-girlfriends spoke for the report, including one extramarital affair. All said Walker was unstable, a liar, and a prolific cheater. Both before and after he published the book, he points to excuse his bad behavior. All but one said they fear him. Walker touts his Christian faith and cultivates an image as a family man. In 2010, 2 years after the book, Walker told Howard Stern he'd only had sex with 2 women. By that time, he fathered 3 kids with 3 women and reportedly paid for abortions for at least 2 other women. Wow. Still, after the book, Walker became a celebrity advocate for mental health, styling himself a champion for mental health while campaigning. The girlfriend said Walker lied and cheated so much they suspected he sometimes used advocacy tours as a cover to see other women. So he would tell his girlfriend, oh, I need to go on doing a mental health tour where I'm speaking about my mental health issues, and then he would just slip out and go cheat. Wow. A woman who had an extramarital affair with Walker in the 90s said he offered to help her schizophrenic sister, but never did, even when reminded. She said she hasn't slept with him since 2013, but he tried to hook up with her as recently as 2019. Quote, he's a fucking asshole. The girlfriends all recalled being emotionally vulnerable when Walker first charmed them and cheated. One said, he got me at my low point in my life after a bad divorce, and he knew that. The man has no conscience. He proposed to multitude of women at once. Some women said, wow, that's fucking crazy. A desk supervisor at a hotel in the 90s that he was instructed by Walker and his agent to help facilitate extramarital affairs. One woman confirmed that she had encounters with Walker at that hotel during that period. Domestic violence claims have clouded Walker's campaign. His son said his dad repeatedly threatened to kill him and his mom, forcing moves 6 times in 6 months. In 2008, his ex-wife said he put a gun to her head. Parsa talks about the gun. Those are some of the jaw-dropping details. Here's the full scoop, so they have the full article here. Okay, so domestic abuser, violent guy, prolific liar, prolific cheater, and claims to have dissociative identity disorder, but he invokes it anytime he does something like cheats or lashes out violently or threatens to kill somebody or puts a gun in their mouth. So all these things, one of these things on their own is sort of disqualifying. And honestly, I'll ask you guys, I don't know which one is worse. To be lying about the dissociative identity disorder to excuse your terrible behavior and your criminal actions, or to actually have it and you're still suffering from it, but you pretend like you're over it. And in fact, Patriot Takes dug up this video here. This is in 2019. This is recently. He talks about living with dissociative identity disorder. And here he says, oh, it never leaves.
And that's one thing I always tell people, no matter what, always continue your therapy, because I'm never going to leave. DID is never going to leave me. It's always going to be with me. And I have 2 doctors, Dr. Jerry and also Dr. Fridley out of California. And because, I have over 800 employees. And let me tell you, when you work with people, they will drive you crazy. Let me tell you, there's sometimes I want to choke them, but I don't. But I have somebody that really want to choke. I have relatives, and your relative will drive you crazy. I'm getting it off my back, and it feel better. And that's one thing.
So, look, my reasons for not voting Herschel Walker are more my reasons why I do everything politically, which is policy. Warnock is like way better when it comes to policy. And again, Warnock has every excuse in the book to go full Joe Manchin and vote 50% with the Republicans and say, hey man, I'm from a traditionally red state. What do you want me to do? He doesn't do that. He votes the right way on stuff. He was a huge advocate for those $2,000 checks, prodding Biden behind the scenes to go all the way and do the $2,000 checks, $15 minimum wage. I mean, you go down the list, right? This is a guy who, you saw the sermons from 2009 where he's like, I hate it when people shit on socialized medicine. Like, we're all the same. We all have these things in common. We have a spleen. We have a liver. Like, we should have the same healthcare that people in Congress have. This is a guy who's right on the policy. That's what I care about. Herschel Walker is down the line a right-winger on policy. But outside of the policy stuff, when you get to, personal characteristics, his identity and all that stuff, the guy's a piece of shit, man. The guy's a liar. Claims to be super anti-abortion, has paid for a number of abortions and prodded women to get abortions, domestic violence, put a gun in a woman's mouth, prolific cheater. Like, it's hard not to also factor in, when it comes to Walker, his incredible stupidity and also his personal flaws, because he has almost every single flaw. The only thing we don't know of yet is if he actually fucking murdered somebody, right? But like, the domestic violence, the threatening people, it's all just insane. So, he's already the underdog going in on election day. We'll see what happens, but man, it would be something if this guy ended up winning, because I've never seen more dirt on a single person than I've seen on Herschel Walker. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.